Ever get those little pieces of advice from your parents that kind of stick with you?
Hmm.
You know, like those things they say that make you roll your eyes when you're younger, but
Ah,
then like years later, you're like, oh,
right.
they were, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So today we're diving into a whole bunch of those
Okay.
like life lessons that a father put together for his child.
It's so interesting to see that kind of thing,
Yeah.
to get that glimpse into like a family's advice and wisdom.
It's like we're peeking into a family's like personal library or something.
Yeah, totally.
So the document we're looking at today is called Life Lessons by a Dad. And
Right.
it's a lot.
I bet.
This dad, he wrote down 365 pieces of advice,
Wow.
one for every single day of the year.
Wow. That's a lot of advice.
It is a lot of advice, which is why we have our expert here to help us break it down.
Happy to help.
Um, so what is it about this document that is so interesting to you?
I think what I like most is that you can tell it's coming from a genuine place.
Yeah.
Like this dad has really lived,
Mm-hmm.
he's made his mistakes.
Yeah.
And it seems like he just wants to help his kid avoid some of those same pitfalls.
Yeah.
But it's more than that, too.
Yeah.
It's not just about avoiding mistakes. It's
Yeah.
like he wants his child to really live a good life.
Yeah.
A life that's full of connection,
Mm-hmm.
personal growth,
Yeah.
like real lasting fulfillment.
Yeah, those are some pretty big themes.
They are.
So let's maybe start breaking those down a little bit.
Okay.
The one I really noticed was just how much he talked about personal connection.
Like genuine relationships with people.
Yeah,
It seems like that's like the most important thing to him.
it does.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know, but I wonder if maybe he had to learn that the hard way.
What do you mean?
Well, like maybe earlier in his life he had relationships that weren't so meaningful.
Oh, okay.
Maybe he didn't have that depth of connection.
Yeah.
And maybe now he realizes how important it really is.
Happiness and everything else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It makes you think about all the different people we have in our lives
Mm-hmm.
and how much those relationships really affect us.
For sure.
And it's not just romantic relationships or anything. You're
Right.
talking about family,
Yeah.
friends, coworkers,
Everyone.
everyone.
It's like he wants his child to just treat everyone with respect.
And understanding, like not just tolerance, but like really trying to understand
Yes.
where people are coming from.
I love that.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that quote
Which one?
by Maya Angelou.
Okay.
People will forget what you said. People will forget what you did. But people will never forget how you made them feel.
That's so good.
Right.
Yeah, and I think it connects to that idea of
Yeah.
making those connections with people.
It really does.
Because
yeah.
if you can connect with someone on that level,
Mm-hmm.
then you're going to leave a positive impact on their life.
Exactly. And that's something this dad really seems to emphasize. Like he wants his child to go out and make a difference.
For sure. But it's not just about how we treat others.
Right.
There's also a lot about how we treat ourselves. This dad is all about personal growth.
Oh, absolutely.
He wants his kid to be learning new things all the time,
Yeah.
trying new things, and like always trying to be better.
To be the best version of themselves.
Yeah. And not just like what other people think is the best.
Exactly.
Like really figuring out who they are.
I think that's so important.
Me too.
It's so easy to just get caught up in what everyone else is doing.
Totally.
It takes real strength to be true to yourself.
Especially when it's hard.
Yes. When it's hard.
What do you think about that?
And that's where I think that self-reliance comes in.
Okay.
Like he's giving his son the tools to actually do that.
To like be himself.
Exactly. Even when it's hard. Even when other people are pressuring him to be different.
Yeah, and that can be really tough.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to like work and stuff.
Well, it's totally.
There's so much pressure to be successful.
Mm.
But even with that, even with work,
Yeah.
this dad has a really interesting perspective.
What do you mean?
Well, he's not saying that work isn't important. Like, he's not telling his kid to not work hard.
Right.
But he's saying that it shouldn't be the only thing you care about.
I see.
Like, you should enjoy your work.
Yeah. Find something you actually like to do.
Yeah. He actually says, if it's not fun, it's not worth doing.
Wow.
I know, right?
It's a pretty bold statement.
It is, but I kind of like it.
Yeah, me too.
Like, I know not every job can be fun all the time,
Right, of course.
but don't you think it should at least be something you enjoy?
Definitely. I mean, life's too short to be miserable at work,
Yeah, and he actually says that sometimes you have to prioritize other things,
Like what?
like family.
Oh, interesting.
He actually says that in your job, you're expendable,
Wow.
but in your family, you're not.
That's a good point.
So true.
It really makes you think about your priorities.
It does, and it makes me wonder about some of the other advice he gives.
Yeah, like specific things he said.
Exactly. Are you ready to dive into some of those?
I am. Let's do it.
Okay, so this one made me laugh out loud when I read it.
Okay.
It's number 175.
Okay.
And it says, if you want to be a rebel, get a tattoo at 70, not 17.
I love that one.
Right.
It's so good.
It's like, don't be rebellious just to fit in.
Right.
Like, do it when you're old.
Exactly when it actually means
Yeah.
something. Like when you're 70 and you get a tattoo.
Yeah.
That's rebellious.
That's amazing. Okay, so that was a funny one.
Yeah.
But this next one really resonated with me.
Okay.
It's number 41.
Mm-hmm.
There is no greater gift you can give than time. Please note that these are possibly the most important 10 words in this book.
Wow, that one really hits hard.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, it just makes you think about how precious time really is.
It does.
And how we should be spending it with the people who matter most.
Yeah. And not just spending time with them, but like really being present.
Exactly.
Like putting down your phone.
Yes.
Being in the moment.
That's so important, and it's so easy to forget.
It really is.
Especially these days.
Totally.
Okay, I have another one for you.
Okay, bring it on.
This one's about money.
Ooh.
Number 83.
Mm-hmm.
Don't compete with others financially. They aren't any different to you, though many will pretend they are.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Right.
Yeah, it's so easy to get caught up in comparing ourselves to others.
Yeah.
So easy, especially financially.
Yeah, like who has the bigger house or the nicer car.
Right. It's like a never-ending competition.
And it's so pointless.
It really is, because happiness, it doesn't come from stuff.
Exactly.
It comes from within.
Yes.
So what's another piece of advice that really stood out to you?
This one is short, but I think it's really important.
Okay, let's hear it.
Okay, it's number 267.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, one day, go the opposite direction to work. Go somewhere you've never been before on the spur of the moment.
I love that. It's like he's encouraging his son to go on an adventure, to just get out there and explore.
It's so easy to just get stuck in a rut.
It is.
Like you just do the same thing every day.
Like, totally.
But this is like a good reminder to shake things up a bit.
Exactly. Like you never know what you might discover.
Yeah. Okay. I have one more piece of advice I want to get your take on.
Okay.
This one's number 351.
Okay.
And it's short and sweet, but it's really powerful.
Let's hear it.
He says, if it's not fun, it's not worth doing. Try to enjoy everything you do.
Ooh, I like that one a lot.
Right.
It's like a permission slip to enjoy your life.
It is.
To actually go out there and do things that make you happy.
Yeah, and not just like big, important things either. Like even just the little things.
Exactly, like finding joy in the everyday moments.
It's so easy to get caught up in the stress of it all.
It really is.
And forget to actually enjoy ourselves.
Yeah, and you know what?
Yeah.
I think that's a good note to end on.
What do you mean?
Like this whole deep dive.
Yeah.
It's been about finding ways to live a better life.
That's true.
And enjoying everything you do.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big part of that.
It is, you know, and it makes me wonder, like, what advice would we give if we were writing a list of life lessons?
Oh, that's a great question.
What would be on your list?
Oh, man, that's tough.
It's a big question.
It is. But I think for me, it would be to never stop learning.
Okay.
Like to always be curious and open to new experiences.
Yeah, I love that.
Because that's how you grow as a person.
It is. And it keeps life interesting.
Exactly.
Well said. I think that's a great piece of advice.
Thanks.
And I think it's a perfect place to wrap up this deep dive. So thank you for joining us today.
It was my pleasure.
And thank you to all of our listeners for tuning in.
Yes, thank you.
We'll see you next time.